Greetings, fellow wanderer. I'm trying another walking video with a slightly more candid approach to the video. So if you like it, please let me know in the comments what you think. What I'd like to share with you today are a few things I've learned after being married for 9 years. The first thing I've learned is the people who are most successful in marriage are people who have accountability. And what do I mean when I say accountability? Accountability means that you have a person or multiple people in your life who you are open and transparent with. You tell them what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and what you're doing. And the thing that makes it accountability is not simply that you shared. It's not that they nod along and go like, "Oh, yeah, I've experienced that too," although empathy is important. What's important about accountability is that accountability comes with questioning. So what do I mean? What's an example? Well, let's say I have an argument with my wife, right? And I walk away from that argument thinking, she's got it all wrong, I've got it all right, and here's how, right? Well, if I have accountability, I go to the people to whom I'm accountable to. I tell them what I said, I tell them what she said, I tell them what I'm thinking about it, what I'm feeling about it. And then they start to hit me with the questions. They ask me things like, who are you trying to be in that situation? They ask me when I give them evaluations, and by the way, it's very important to know the difference between an evaluation and an observation. When I give them my evaluations, they say, how do you know that? Or they ask me something like, who told you that's true? And you get asked that often enough, you'll begin to realize how difficult it is to justify your thoughts. Something else they'll ask me, because in every argument, what's common is that you blame. You go, this person did this. I would never do that. I would never do that to them. And people who keep you accountable, if they know anything about human nature, they'll say, have you really never done that to them or to anybody else? And you might be self-justified and you might say, no, I've never done that to anyone else. And then they'll have to ask you, well, given the right circumstances, do you think you ever would? And unless you're just completely caught in the delusion, you're going to have to say, yeah, I suppose there's a situation where I would take the action I am now deeming unacceptable in this person that I'm angry at. So that's one thing. If you're not married, I really would encourage you to make that something you look for in a spouse. Really ask them, are you accountable? Like, do you have people who tell you you're wrong and that you need humility and that you need, and that you have problems that you need to change? I would spend a lot of work if I were unmarried and looking for a spouse. I would spend a lot of work trying to ascertain that about a potential spouse. And listen, if they don't have that, it's clear to you that they don't. Do not assume that they love you so much that they'll do it for you. They're not going to do that. 9 times out of 10. Listen, even the best person in the world, probably with their best efforts and intentions of improving themselves, will only get to change 2 out of 10 things wrong, 2 out of 10 character flaws. Even the best of us. Just being frank with you. So, yeah, don't assume that. And also, this isn't something you can do for your spouse. A lot of people seem to think like, my spouse can be my accountability. And the reality is, no, they really can't. Accountability requires a level of distance that your spouse can't have from you. It's not going to work. And the bottom line is this: if either member of a relationship doesn't have accountability, then you're going to have a lot of arguments where one or both of you refuses to admit that they're wrong. Because when I go to my accountability partners and I tell them all that, and they grill me, I come back to the argument ready to make amends, clear on where my faults were, and with some hope and ideas about how to move forward. But if you don't have that, if that's not coming from the outside, it's not going to magically appear on the inside of your relationship. And that's kind of the bottom line. A lack of accountability is equivalent to an inability to see fault in yourself. So that's one thing I've learned. And it kind of leads well into a second thing I've learned, which is acceptance. Acceptance is always the answer in your relationship, I think. It's my opinion. You're welcome to disagree. I'll accept you if you do. Because here's the bottom line. Between two flawed beings, acceptance is the foundation of love. It's where love starts. You love a flawed being by accepting their flaws first. The reality is we all have grown up in many different situations. Some of us had parents who knew how to disagree and who knew how to communicate. Some of us had parents who didn't know how and violently disagreed in the home. Some of us had parents who didn't know how to disagree and went along with days on end of silent scorn. Some of us had parents who just gave up on the whole project entirely. And we grew up between homes or with just one parent, miserable. And the reality is, acceptance is really the only antidote to those situations. It's the only antidote that you can implement on your own, for yourself, for your own benefit. Acceptance is me knowing that I can't change my spouse, Acceptance is knowing that I can't force my spouse to express love to me the way that I think that I need it. Acceptance is knowing that my spouse may be wrong and insist up and down that they're right. Acceptance is knowing that I may never have a clear view of who's wrong or right. Acceptance is knowing that maybe it's never been about who's right or wrong. It's funny how deep down I think most of us want to be loved by people without being worthy of it, But how many of us are willing to love people who aren't worthy of love? I think that's what if we get into marriage, that's really what we should be learning. because that's probably what union's about, right? Anyways, that's all I've got for now. I appreciate you listening if you've listened this far. If you like this more candid style, let me know. If you agreed or disagreed with anything I said, please let me know. I'm happy to hear from you. And as always, mind yourself and keep on wandering.